Good evening, everyone. Great crowd we have out tonight. Welcome to the 31st annual spring concert of the Swan Valley Community Band. I'm Julie Kooistra. I have the pleasure of being able to sit and play a lot tonight. I think I have 3 pieces that I'm conducting, and otherwise Nic Stroud is going to be conducting the rest of the concert. This is our 31st annual spring concert. In the spirit of truth and reconciliation, we acknowledge that Swan Valley Regional Secondary School is located on Treaty 4 territory, signed on September 15, 1874. It is the traditional land of the Cree and Saulteaux peoples and the homeland of the Red River Métis. We acknowledge northern Manitoba includes land that were and are the ancestral lands of the Inuit. We remain committed to working in partnership with First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people in the spirit of truth, reconciliation, and collaboration. This concert is dedicated to the memories of 2 former community band members. Sorry, I didn't think I was going to do this. Addie Oberland and Rick Hool, who both coincidentally passed away May 4th. Addie was a dedicated, talented person who always had a smile and positive things to say. Rick was talented, upbeat, and always had a funny story to share with the band. Sometimes we couldn't repeat the story. He was the trumpet player at the Remembrance Day services for many years. We will miss them both. Thank you, Karen, for researching the dates. I think Rick was a member for 20 years, and Addie was a member for 14 years. She moved, as she got older, she moved out to Alberta to be closer to family. And Jane, thank you very much for creating the memory boards for both members. You can have a look at them after the concert. We are delighted to have the tour band from the ESRSS and SVRSS join us this evening. Please sit back and enjoy the concert.
Okay, so I'm Nic Stroud. I'm the band director at ESRSS, as well as I have the awesome privilege of working with Julie. This group is fantastic, and I've really enjoyed working with them. I got 2 songs to start off for you. The first one is March of the Irish Guard. It's just a nice light march. And then the second one is a song called Perthshire Majesty. It's a absolutely beautiful piece, and it features a group of 6 at the beginning. So we have Donna May on the alto, Donna and Angela on the clarinets, and our lovely flute section, Christina, Karen, and Jillian. So Irish Guard, followed by Perthshire Majesty. I hope you enjoy. Thank you. All right, so I'm going to pass it off back to Julie now, and she's going to introduce her next song.
All right, that was a chop burner. Holy. This next piece is called The Legend of Lorelei. And a Lorelei is a steep rock formation, I had to research it, on the River Rhine in Germany. The name loosely translates to murmuring rock because it comes from the murmuring sound created by a heavy current and nearby waterfall, along with the echo effect from the rock formation. The poem Die Lorelei was set to music, I don't speak German, so apologies, was set to music by Friedrich Schiller. The song tells the story of a beautiful maiden that was believed to be a siren who would bewitch and distract the shipmen navigating the treacherous waters around the rock formation with her beautiful voice, causing them to crash on the rocks and sink their ships. So that's what the Legend of Lorelei is all about. I hope you enjoy this challenging piece.
Okay, so one more song. Oh dear. Yep, happens every concert. Okay. Dropping the baton. I haven't thrown it at anyone yet, and that has happened. Not on purpose. Okay, so our next song is North Shore Overture. Basically, this song is basically about how the early settlers settled in Canada in the early 1800s. You're on the North Shore of the St. Lawrence, and basically it's just basically like basic land development, and eventually you get into the War of 1812, you'll hear cannons. Fun fact, the original War of 1812 Overture by Tchaikovsky actually featured cannons in the live production. Blank cannons, not ones with cannonballs. Don't worry, no one got injured. So yeah, hope you enjoy. It's a fun piece. Yeah. All right, thank you. And then tour band will come on. So, all right. I'm not a stand-up comedian, so you get me providing random music facts. So, my favorite composer is Rachmaninoff, and I have a crazy story of how I got into playing him. So, when I was in grade, 10, I literally was scrolling through the internet, found a random piece of music. This is Rachmaninoff's Prelude in C-sharp minor. And I looked at it, it's like, oh, it's this crazy bunch of chords, and parts of it is like, oh, there's 4 stavs you have to read at the same time. And I'm like, I brought it to my piano teacher in the city, who's like, I was like, I wasn't really in RCM or whatever, I was just more like, piano because I was just a nerd and just wanted to play a bunch of songs. It's like, hey, can I learn this? And she's like, why? Because it looks cool. She's like, okay. So yeah, now it's a typical one. I can play it from memory, and I've actually played for the kids a bunch. They're like, it's so dramatic. I'm like, I know. That's Yeah. Thoroughly entertaining. You should learn it. Oh. Okay, so we got the tour band. So these are a bunch of grade 8 to 11 students from 8 Cool, Swan River South. We have one low and Minnetonka's kid, and a bunch of the rest of the kids are from the regional. We just went on a band trip throughout southern Manitoba. We went to, Shoal Lake, Brandon. We popped in at Holland and Miami to take some pictures. We were in Morden and Winkler for a few days. And we had a bunch of really, really good times. Performed at least once a day. We did a bunch of pop-up performances, particularly in Morden, where there's a bunch of fish statues that you can perform under. One of our clarinets decided to climb into one of them that you could and play the clarinet. It was thoroughly entertaining. And yeah, I get the pleasure of co-directing with Mr. Matika. So I'm going to let him introduce his first song, and then we'll go from there. Hope you enjoy.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mark Mateka. I teach here at the high school. And we have, like Mr. Stroud said, we have grade 8 to 12 through the senior high. And from a variety of schools, like Minnetonka's, we have ESRSS. And of course, the high school, we draw from all the communities around Swan River, of course. Our first selection that we're going to play, I like to play everywhere I go, every chance that I get. And I'll tell you why. Because on the monograph, it says that this selection is dedicated to the Swan Valley School Band, Manitoba, Canada. And it was written by Alfred Reed in 1983. And further, in the program notes, it is by the publisher written that this piece was commissioned for the Northern Manitoba Concert Band Festival and first performed by the festival band under the direction of the composer, Alfred Reed, on November 26, 1983, and at the concluding concert of the annual meeting. So I was so lucky to be there myself as a trumpet student. I was in grade 9 at the time, and I played with a number of other students from Swan River, the Paw, Flin Flon, and Thompson. And we formed the Northern Manitoba Band Festival at the time in 1983. And I had no idea that Mr. Reed was who he was at the time. I was in grade 9. I didn't know too much at the time. And especially in things concerning the world of wind orchestra and concert band. But this selection, a little concert suite, and we're just going to play the first movement from it, the Entrada, which is a ceremonial entrance march. We had no idea at the time that this song was going to become one of the staples of wind orchestra concert band literature around the world. This piece is famous. One of the top-rated wind orchestras in the world, the Kosai Tokyo Orchestra, plays this at a number of their shows. So it's pretty big. So we should be really proud of that. And every chance that I get, like I said, I like to have our students learn this piece as a legacy piece. Our program, the band program in the Swan River Valley, is a legacy, and we have to honor that. And I believe that we should politely boast every time we have a chance to. And we actually took this down to Ms. Turton and I took this down to Nashville. We played it down there back in, was that 2016? 19? Well, that was Toronto.
Okay, 16.
2016, when we went down to Nashville with the band. We recorded it in RCA Studio B as well. We cut a CD. It was very, very exciting. So we love taking this song around. So we hope you enjoy the Entrada by Alfred Reed.
So I got a set of 3 songs for you. It takes on a bit of a Star Wars dystopian theme. The first song is called Droid, and I just want you to imagine, like, you know, the droid is going through the factory, it comes to life, it waddles around, unleashes destruction onto the world, and then that's the end of the song. Okay, second one, classic Star Wars song, Cantina Band. And the third one, completely not related to Star Wars, but I threw it in the set, is a classic bassy song, Lil Darlin, and it's featuring soloists. I'll introduce them after they've played. Hope you enjoy. Thank you. One, two, ready, go. Honestly, I don't need to stand in front of them. They're perfectly fine by themselves. But, you know, leave my arms. They're pretty, yeah, you know. Okay, for our next one, Lil Darlin, I'll just introduce our solos. So our first solo is going to be, I need to make sure I get the order right. Luke on trumpet, followed by Malcolm on the alto, followed by Nathan on the bari, followed by Nex on the clarinet. Enjoy. Relax. It's a very slow song. Completely opposite of what you just heard. 1, 2. 1, 2, ready, go. Trevor Solis, another round of applause. Awesome job, guys. All right, hope you enjoyed that set. I'm now going to pass it back to Mr. Matejka.
Thank you very much. We are really enjoying playing. I really enjoy playing that song, by the way, Mr. Stroud. Yeah, I don't get to play upright that much. So "The Water Is Wide" is our next selection, and it's an old folk song, and I think most people understand it to be kind of a love song. I've always interpreted it more as a song about friendship, about the distance between any kind of friendship, any kind of relationship. Even though it's geographical or physically distanced, if someone is important enough to you, they're never far away. They're always with you in your heart. Any band will tell you, any director will tell you, any musician will tell you, slow songs are always the hardest to play. You have no idea if you've never done it before, and I know some of you have in here, so I know that you can appreciate how difficult it is to play together and be a single entity, right? We're not individuals, we're a group that is on one team, and I mean, we use terms like, we have to orchestrate this so that it can happen. I mean, that comes directly from this kind of thing, right? Where everything is tightly locked. So good job on that. Our final song is a medley of just fun songs. We loved playing this wherever we went, at different schools. We played at a couple retirement centers too. Superheroes Are Us with a capital R. just to make it extra cheesy, I guess. This is the theme from Superman by the original John Williams Superman, that is, the James Bond theme, the original Batman theme, and I don't know if this is a superhero song so much, but the arranger thought it was, but the Soul Bossa Nova by Quincy Jones from the Austin Powers movie. So he's kind of a superhero in a way, I guess. I mean, he was frozen and came back to life, so that qualifies. Anyway, we always enjoyed on our tour ending with this song, and so I hope you enjoy Superheroes Are Us by the Swan Valley Tour Band. I just want to say another thank you to Mr. Stroud and Mrs. Kooistra for inviting the Swan Valley Tour Band to play for our hometown. We play everywhere else, but we haven't played here yet. So it's really a treat to play for the home crowd, play for the parents, and play for the community that supports us and bought our pierogies, right? And which you should have by now. They got picked up, so they should be distributed. So thank you very much, and it was really a treat to play for our own community tonight. Thank you.
All right, so we're going to bring the Swan Valley Community Band back on. The tour band will be on again later. So, hope you enjoy the rest of the performance. I'll pass the thing off to... You're doing something?
Yeah.
All right, awesome.
I'm sure by now you're all tired of sitting, so would you want to stand up just for a minute and shake about, because we've still got some music left? Speak into the mic. All right, let's stand up and just move around a bit, because we have the second half of our concert, which is another 3 or 4 songs. And one of the jobs that Rick used to do was was thanking our conductors. And without our conductors, we are just simply a group of musicians with nothing to do. And so Julie has been with us for 31 years, and she keeps us together. And then, oh, hi, Chris. And then Nic has added a lot of spice, and he has really pushed us a long way in what we do. And we're very grateful to him. We also are open to any one of you out here who is capable of playing an instrument. So if you have an instrument at home, go dust it off out of your closet and come on out and join us. We meet every Wednesday night. Enjoy the rest of the concert.
Thank you for entertaining us. Thank you for being here, because without the audience, we really don't have a purpose, right? I mean, we can play for ourselves. We know how good we are, right? But without you guys, we would really be struggling. Okay, so thank you. Give yourselves a round of applause for being here and supporting us. This is also, I thank both Mark Matejka and Nic Stroud for bringing their band here. It's not an easy feat. It's extra time for themselves. The kids are very enthusiastic. Bravo. One more round of applause for that wonderful band. And this truly proves that music is a lifelong endeavor. You've played, lots of these people played in high school, maybe played a year or two, maybe played till grade 12. But picked it up when we first started, way back when, 31 years ago. The average time away from the instrument was about 20 years. So some were more, some were 25 years away. So it's never too late if you have it. It's like riding a bike, you can get back on it again. So if anyone is interested, we start back up in the fall, and we would just love to have more of you come and play with us. We have a few more pieces for you. If you need to stand up anytime, just do so. And I'll invite you afterwards to join us. We've got a lot of donuts to be eaten up and some beverages. Thank you to Karen for the program. Thank you to Phil for the beverages. Who am I missing? Anybody? And thank you to the band for being so wonderful. I wouldn't be here this long if they hadn't been so wonderful. So a round of applause for them. The next piece of music is called My Heart Will Go On. This simple, haunting love song from the movie Titanic features either a saxophone or a vocal solo. We convinced 2 of our members to perform this song. I don't think it took much convincing, I don't think. Lorraine and Jillian are going to be singing with our band accompanying. Enjoy.
Okay, so for our next selection, we're doing a compilation of songs from the musical Les Miserables. How many of you seen the musical? Or heard it at least? It's a lovely musical. But the music is like so hard. My old high school did it the year before I got into it. I was really, really jealous. I wanted to be in Sioux Valley. But they did Phantom the year I got into grade 9, so I mean, like, you can't really argue with that. So, yeah. So, hope you enjoy. There's a bunch of different songs. Cool. I don't know. Don't hire me to be an MC, please. I say so kindly. I'm going to pass it back for our last song as a solo ensemble to Julie.
Our chops are pretty done right now, but we have one more piece for you as an ensemble, and then we're going to combine and see what we all sound like for our last number. I forgot to mention the two soloists from the last piece. I did mention them, but I'd like them to stand up and get another round of applause, please. Jillian and Lorraine. All right, this last piece of music, I wrote a whole bunch of stuff. It's from a Disney tune. It's called Tangled. If any of you have young children, you've probably seen it before. And it just has a very street fairish type sound. It's very folksy, and the themes are really fun to play. Get up and dance if you feel if the music moves you. Again, please join us for donuts, and thank you again to the tour band. They were wonderful. Thank you to Nick and Mark for bringing them here, and thank you to you for staying. Kingdom Dance, our last piece.
Okay, so I'm going to invite the tour band back on. It's going to require some logistics, so just talk amongst yourselves for a second. Okay, so for our final song, we are going to be doing The Tempest by R.W. Smith. This song is basically about the formation, the start, and the events of a storm. So I want you to be getting just like, the wind is starting to brew up. You get about halfway through the song, it's like a really crazy thunderstorm. And then at the end, you'll hear like sort of a effect that the band is going to play. And it's like the tornado going through. So hope you enjoy our final song. It's been a pleasure to work with everybody here. And I wish everyone a pleasant evening. And please, eat the donuts. They're good. Quick stop donuts, the best. Boston cream.